Welcome to the All About Heaters webinar and Facebook Live event. My name is Hannah and I am with the marketing team with Central Confinement Service. Central Confinement Service builds livestock housing systems, general commercial construction, and even protein processing facilities. We also have a retail side, and you can come to us with any of your retail products needs, such as our VeriFlame heater that we're showcasing today. During the All About Heaters webinar, we will go through the showcasing of an AP product with AP salesman Kevin Rath, and then go into some preseason heater maintenance and end with drawings for our giveaway. CCS was running a heater giveaway. We will be giving away a free AP heater to a lucky winner, along with an AP light up neon clock and an AP bar stool. So let's jump into it. If you have any questions or comments, just comment them in the box and we will try to answer them as we go. So our first guest today is Brian Turner, Central Confinement Service President. Brian, would you start off just by telling us about yourself?
Sure. And I've been here at CCS. I get back from away from this. At CCS for a little over a year now, president of CCS. So I have a passion for the livestock industry. So that's why I'm here.
Well, great. And can you tell us about the CCS heater sale that we just launched today and the big goal we have for this event?
I can. So here's what we decided to do. We know that the weather's starting to turn. If you've been outside the past couple of days, the temperatures are starting to drop. So you know that pretty soon we're going to need a heater. And a heater in those barns, whether it be a new construction or a remodel or retrofit. So here's what we were thinking. We were out and said, hey, what can we do to not only help the farmer producer, but also help us to kind of move some product. And we came up with this huge event. We want to sell a trailer load of heaters. That's about 260 some heaters in this period we have. So we even got pretty crazy out front. We even have a trailer with a big sign and all that good stuff. So anyway, that's what we're trying to do. And I think we can make it happen.
Right, truckload of heaters. We'll make sure to post a picture of that truck that we have outside too later on. So people can go to purchase heaters from our sale by going on to syncon.com or giving us a call. We'll write our phone number in the comments as well, and there's some big discounts on those as well.
There's a lot of discounts, and then we're also, if you have multiple needs, like if you want to outfit a barn or whatever, we can look at some quantity discounts along with what we have.
Awesome. Well, can you just tell us a little bit about Central Confinement Service and some of the services we offer?
Oh, sure. We've been in business over, I guess, going on about 38 years now, and focused on building livestock facilities for all kinds of livestock. We're talking from sows, hogs, and cattle, and chickens and turkeys and everything. So we've been doing that. That's been our bread and butter. We have a real passion for that. Our team has a lot of combined years of experience in doing that. So we know what goes into every one of those livestock facilities, whether it be a hog barn or anything else. So we have that as a kind of our core service, but additionally then we have aftermarket services. Like we're going to listen to Kevin here in just a little bit. Where we can go in, we can retrofit a barn that's getting on in age. We can from penning, because we manufacture our own penning here on site, all the way to our technicians can go out and do an install or some basic maintenance from curtains, penning, heaters, waterers, you name it. We can come in and take care of it.
Right. And even with the storm damage that's happened recently across the Midwest, we have a lot of those services that can help those producers get back on their feet quickly.
Exactly. And we work directly with the insurance company too, which makes it nice. We can kind of take the grower out of the loop as far as handling all the paperwork, and we can build it from ground up or however we need to go.
All right. Well, thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
We'll welcome our next guest with us. Kevin from AP is going to showcase the heater today. We have a VeriFlame heater here, and then go into a little bit about the heater maintenance as well.
Absolutely.
I'll give you the floor.
Thanks, Hannah. Appreciate it. Appreciate the chance to be here with Central Confinement today and go over the heater. We are pretty proud of the VeriFlame heater that was developed just a few short years ago, and we did a lot of things in the development of this heater that I think are some of the features and benefits that we're going to cover now make it an advantageous type of product. For instance, we went to the voice of the customer. We talked to a lot of maintenance and service technicians and people to give us ideas of what were their biggest concerns about heaters, and we incorporated those things into the heater line. So with that in mind, we have 3 surface types or shell types on the heater. This is a red powder coated heater. So what we do is we start with galvanized steel heater. After we've punched all the holes, we powder coat it to extend the life of that. So you can take, this is the mid-range heater with the red powder coating surface. If you want to be a little more economical, we make it with a galvanized cabinet, or you can take a step up and get all stainless. So that's one of the first things that we wanted to do is make it multiple options for people in terms of durability. The next things that we wanted to do, and you'll hear more about the durability and the materials used in the heater throughout, but one of the next things we wanted to do was make it easy to access. So a lot of heaters, some of our former heater lines had a door on each end, and typically you would open the wrong end. So with this heater, we put the door on just one end, and when you open that, you can also use these small hinge keepers and take that door right off for ease of maintenance when you're working on it. When you go to working on the heater, well, I'm going to take a step back and go into, when you purchase a complete heater, you're going to get several components. So the first thing that comes with it, mounted inside the box, pull, caught in there, but he will come out, is the deflector. So this deflector then gets bent and positioned on the front of the heater. So you can make it a straight deflector, you can make it a wide deflector, or however you want. It goes over this opening here, and you'll see these are all keyholed out. We just use a 1/4-inch nut driver, and you'll hear more discussion on a 1/4-inch nut driver throughout our discussion here today as well, because we used a 1/4-inch nut driver for all the stainless screws that we use to build the cabinet of the heater. We also use this for mounting of different components inside the heater. So whenever this deflector gets made, it's all keyholed out. That'll just fit over top there. You bend it to the direction you want, slide it in place, and tighten it up. So that's the deflector on the front of the heater. Now we're going to go back to the componentry that shows up when you purchase a heater. Besides the deflector, you're going to get a bag of components, including an electrical cord, suspension chain, a sediment trap for screwing into the side of the heater to bring gas into it, and a valve, eye lags for hanging it, and J-hooks for the top for hanging the heater. So you should be fully equipped and ready to go with the heater. You don't have to buy any other additional components to put this thing to work. And then finally, and we strongly recommend you remove this before you start the heater in operation, it comes with a user's manual. Inside the heater then, there are several features that again go back to our voice of customer, doing things that make it easy to work on and more durable. So several things that we heard over and over again in our discussion is we see wires corrode in the environment. In a hog environment, it's very challenging. So the wiring harnesses that we use are all Teflon coated wires, and then the wire itself is a tinned aluminum. If you go to a chart of the materials themselves and what would be the most corrosion resistant, those are the materials that we found are at the top of the charts, most durable and able to handle the environment we're working in. Likewise, the burner box is totally enclosed and sealed, so we keep the dust and the corrosion out. And then we went back to trying to make all the componentry easy to access and work on. So again, 1/4-inch nut driver, we loosen a couple of the keepers that are keyholed out. When those are loosened up, you can simply pop out a component for easy replacement. So all the 1/4 inch componentry for access and working on it. Then finally, to make it a variable rate heater, this is the on-off model of the variable rate heater. To vary this heater, so if we have a big space, we can set it to full on, which is with this gas valve at 250,000 BTUs, or we can ratchet it back. So if you're in a smaller environment, fewer square foot, you don't want your heater to burn and heat the room up extremely rapidly and then turn off, because you're going to have those on-off cycles and your ventilation system is going to remove that heat that we just added. So by ratcheting this lever down, you can take it all the way down to 50,000. One of the advantages of that for people like Central Confinement is they don't have to stock multiple components for multiple sizes of heaters. This heater covers the full range from 50,000 to 250,000. And likewise, farmers out on site, they can get exactly what they need with one heater and one set of spare parts in their tool crib. So the next thing that we did with this heater that was in many ways revolutionary in my mind is to get that 50 to 250, it takes a burner apparatus like what we see here where it's triangular shaped. So that allows for air penetration from several locations to go in and handle the higher or the lower burn rates. And then we added a silicon nitride igniter that's just in front of this gas distribution. So the gas distribution is a full 4 inches long with multiple holes, and the igniter sits in front of that. When that silicon nitride igniter goes to try to light the heater, it'll get hot. And this device, this silicon nitride, is way more durable and tougher than what several of our older, more ceramic-based types of igniters were. So that's really helped us to have a longer life type of product there. So then finally, some of the things, heaters, they're in a tough environment and you're going to see them experience, challenges, particularly this time of the year. We're going to go into some maintenance and upkeep things in a few minutes here, but the display box, the burner control unit that we have up here is set up with a series of lights, and those lights have codes with them. So for instance, there's a blue light that will flash 1, 2, 3, or 4 times depending on the problem that the heater's experienced. The blue light all deals with light, or with airflow rather. So the airflow then, if you have inadequate airflow or the sales switch is not proving that it's got air moving, the blue light will be that indicator that you can go to. If we have gas flow problems, that's all based on the yellow light. Then of course there's a green light when the system's working properly, and a red light if it's failed. So with those things in mind, it makes it easier to troubleshoot, and all that information is on the back side of the door that comes with the heater, so you can look up your codes for what the heater is experiencing. So that's a quick discussion into the VeriFlame heater. And from here, we wanted to take just a few minutes and talk about fall, preventive maintenance, getting the heaters operational and working early in the year. So the first thing that we would recommend that you do to your heater, we will walk into barns and they are typically extremely dirty. You have the full summer's worth of dust and corrosion that's going on in the heater. So you'll have layers of dust on the whole thing. If you could come in with some kind of either an air compressor with compressed air that you can blow it out, or we know lots of farms have leaf blowers in them, but you need to blow that heater out, maybe even remove the deflector off the front and get the air blowing inside where the blower wheel is located and get that totally cleaned out. Once you've got it cleaned, then it's a matter of the next step is to try and light the heater, see what you have going on. So it's important to understand the sequence of how the heater is going to light. And most all heaters work off the same principles. The first thing we're going to do is we've got to experience airflow. We want to know that the heater is moving air before we ever apply any gas. So upon ignition, either if you just plug it into a hot outlet or if you want to turn your controller to a temperature where it wants to have the heater kick on, then the blower will start operating. When that blower wheel inside is rotating and turning and exhausting air, what will happen is there's a small switch over in the corner called the sail switch or the air proving switch. When that blower is moving, it clicks that air proving switch. If that doesn't happen successfully, the heater will never light because it's looking for airflow. So if it does work, then we move on to the next step, which is we want to go ahead and ignite the heater. And you could see it if you were watching, where the second step will be the silicone nitride igniter will heat up, and you'll see it get red inside of that burner compartment. So again, if you don't see that redness experience, then you've got to go into that situation and check to see what you might have wrong if the igniter for some reason is not getting power to it. And then once you have that, then the next process is the gas valve will send gas flow to it and ignite. So there's a series of things so that's the sequence to get the heater started, but there's a series of things that can happen that can cause it not to light. So like I say, if it doesn't see airflow, that's a problem, it won't light. Right in front of the igniter is the flame probe. The flame probe is one of the first things that we'll see in the fall of the year that it's had all, the off season to corrode. So you may have to take the igniter and the flame sensor, and again, it's a keyhole 1/4-inch nut driver. You lift that out, and steel wool or any kind of wire brush, you can just gently remove the carbon buildup on both of those components. So that would be, after you blow it out every time, that would be the most likely culprit you would see. And you would generally see that if whenever the flame lights, if it lights for just 2 or 3 seconds and then kicks off, that's a strong indicator that you have a flame probe sensor that is not functioning correctly. And oftentimes that's caused by carbon buildup on that. Additionally, you can have some wiring. You should double check your wiring harnesses throughout to make sure everything is powered up along those lines. And then I think the final thing from a maintenance standpoint is making sure that you have adequate gas flow. So if the heater lights and you have a poor quality flame, or the flame is really yellow instead of a blue, those are all indicators that we don't really have the adequate kind of gas or the proper amount of gas flow, and you may have to call your gas provider or measure the if you have a manometer to measure the gas pressure coming to your heater. But those would be a handful of suggestions to get your season kicked off and have your heaters operating before that first really cold September or October night, whenever you're going to be calling for heat in your barn. So with that,
Thank you, Kevin.
thanks for your time.
Yeah, very helpful. Our next step is going to be our giveaway. So we are giving away an AP bar stool as our first selection for the winners. So we had a lot of entries, and our first winner is, I can't grab one here, Nathan Tentinger. He won the AP bar stool. And our next giveaway item is the AP neon clock. There's different settings here. It blinks and stays on. So our winner for that, and I need to take Nathan's name out, is Steve Weezer. And our last winner is going to be for the free AP heater. Give him a look. And that goes to Mark McPhillips. So if all of our winners can contact us as soon as possible, and if you're watching or know the winner, just tag them in the comments too so that they can see this post. So Brian, I'll let you wrap it up here.
All right, thanks Hannah. Thanks Kevin, appreciate it. So hopefully you've learned something new today about heater maintenance. And one of the things I had to say, when Kevin was talking about that 1/4 inch nut driver, I have to thank the engineering team that actually thought through that, because that way we don't have to carry 20 or 30 different kind of nut drivers with us just to take this apart. So good job to their engineering team, Kevin. Hey, thanks again for joining. If you have any questions, give us a call. Contact us on the website. We can take care of your overall barn needs. New construction and remodel, retrofit, we're all here for you. So, got any questions? Give us a call. Thanks again. And by the way, we are recording this, so watch it again to get the tips that Kevin brought up. And let's sell a truckload or trailer load of heaters. Thanks all.